Hey everybody, it's Kelly Williams with the Kelly Williams Show, Bay Area Houston Magazine and Your Home TV. And I'm so excited because I've got live in the studio, Braxton Skipper, everybody. Woo! All right, we're going to have a lot of fun today because Braxton is the owner of Skipper Insurance Agency Advisors. Yes, and we're going to talk about really interesting information that you need to know. As you can see, we've got a big hurricane behind us. Mm-hmm. It's still hurricane season.
It is.
Yeah.
It sure is.
So stay tuned, grab your coffee, grab your mimosa, and we're going to be right back after this commercial break. Hey everybody, it's time to tune in and turn on your happy. You're watching the Kelly Williams Show. Don't forget you can watch it anytime on the best network ever, Your Home TV. And also streaming on Roku. So get ready, because it's time for the Kelly Williams Show. Hey everybody, we are back. Woo! All right, so Braxton, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. I am so good. And I wanted to let everybody know that if you have a question today, you can actually ask us live right on the show and we can get it answered for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Which is really, really nice. Okay, so Braxton, first of all, where are you from originally?
So I'm from Santa Fe, Texas.
Santa Fe, Texas.
Galveston County.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Texas State University. Go Bobcats.
Nice.
And anyway, I've been in the insurance industry as an agent this is my 7th year.
Yeah.
So
wow.
I was with Texas Farm Bureau out of college for my first 4.
Yeah.
And then I started my own independent practice. This is our 3rd year for that. So,
I like it. And
yes,
it's his birthday tomorrow.
Yep.
Happy birthday.
It's my last day of my 20s today. So
you're so old. You're so old.
I'm 30 tomorrow.
Yeah,
so.
Nice. Well, happy birthday, Braxton.
Thank you, man.
We're excited for
man.
you. We're excited.
I'm excited to be back on the show.
I know. I'm excited. So, and you're going to be able to watch Braxton every month. It's my insurance expert show, and we're going to be answering all kind of questions that people have about some really interesting topics that you need to know. And guess what? Good morning, Shelly. Happy birthday.
Thank you, Shelly. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Good morning, beautiful Shelly. First of all, if you can share the show, there's going to be people that see it today or later today that need to have this information. Because first of all, Braxton, you have Skipper Insurance Advisors. What do y'all help people cover?
So, I'm an independent agent. I write auto, home, wind and flood, and commercial lines business.
Okay, so you cover a big gamut.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I have a pretty big market. So, if any kind of insurance needs that you may have, feel free to contact me. I'm more than happy to quote you through my markets and, see if I can get you fixed up or at least point you in the right direction.
Yeah. Okay. So why do you think you got into the insurance business? Was it just something to do after college and then you realized you really liked it?
So I really never saw myself really doing anything else. My parents are in the insurance business. My grandparents were in the insurance business.
Wow.
They were all Farm Bureau agents. So,
and so on.
Yeah. So, I grew up in the seeing that and just kind of in that world. And that was just kind of what I took to. My dad's a financial advisor. And, my grandparents and mom and everything were on the insurance side. And so I always leaned towards the insurance side.
Yeah.
The financial industry didn't really ever, it didn't really ever interest me, but insurance did. I love helping people. I love talking with people and building relationships and making sure you're protected. And that's just kind of what lined with my personality and
absolutely.
So that's just kind of what I wanted to do.
Yeah. And I like that because you're such a personable guy.
Yes.
And insurance agents are supposed to be those people
right.
that you feel connected to, that you you know that they are honestly trying to help you and help you make good decisions.
Right.
And my father was in insurance for, I don't even know how long. I told you this, but he has that sweet personality. He really wanted to help people, and that's why he got into insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love that. Now, y'all are seeing this, big hurricane picture behind us because, believe it or not, if you're not aware, it is still hurricane season.
Oh, yeah.
So, and it's hurricane season until how long?
Man, this year we've been told it'll go through October in early November.
Yeah.
Just because of how hot our summer was. I mean, I'm not a meteorologist or anything like
You're
that.
not?
But no, I'm not. But I like to play meteorologist. Like this background.
If you look back here,
that's the eye right there. It's probably a Cat 4.
See, you could be a meteorologist. That's really good.
It was my favorite class, but no. In all seriousness, it got hot really early on this year, even for Texas. It's been, it was unseasonably hot even back in May.
Wow.
And
yes,
so
it was.
Anytime that Gulf heats up for that long a time, I mean, it didn't rain all summer. It was just hot. I mean, dead hot.
Yeah.
Triple digit heat for a really long time. And so anytime that Gulf gets hot like that, it doesn't take very much of a cool off to roll over that.
Yeah.
And that's over the Texas Gulf Coast, and that's what causes these huge storms.
Yeah.
So anytime a cold front blows in, cool air rolls over our hot Gulf, that's when the big storms happen. And so that's what a lot of these insurance companies have kind of been anticipating. A lot of them are cut off right now.
Wow.
They're just not writing any new business until next year. A lot of carriers.
Yeah.
So it's not that they're going to drop you or anything. They're just kind of in a holding pattern right now, because they're anticipating some storms. So, like I say, I like to play meteorologist, but and just in our industry, it's kind of hard to not. I mean,
exactly.
You have to kind of be aware.
You got to watch the weather. You got to see what's happening.
Yes, because we could get cut off.
Yeah.
Right. And right.
Wow.
So.
Well, and the thing is that, we're in Texas, so we're used to hurricane season all the time. It's just something you live with, being near the coast.
Right.
However, hurricanes have become a much more national occurrence, going up the East Coast, things, states that I remember thinking they never would have dealt with hurricanes.
Yeah.
And they, I'm sure they did. I just never paid attention.
Just not in our lifetime.
Just not in our lifetime. But so this information is a widespread information show.
Right.
If you have questions about hurricanes or storms or flooding, things like that, we're going to be talking about all of that on these shows. And you can ask any questions you want to Braxton right here on the show. If you have a question or you're struggling with something with your insurance company or you're not sure if you need it, ask him. And if he knows the answer, he'll tell you.
Yes, ma'am.
So, okay. One thing that people, they know about, but a lot of places and areas think they don't need it, is flood insurance.
Absolutely.
How do you know if you need flood insurance? Does somebody tell you need flood insurance? Does a home builder tell you? Does the homeowner who's selling you your home tell you? Or does the realtor tell you? Or is that something you have to ask on your own?
It's a little bit of all of it. That's a great question. As an agent, I recommend flood insurance to everybody. I think it's something that everybody should carry, especially where we live down on the Texas Gulf Coast. But to answer your question, when you go buy a home and, if you're going to mortgage that home, that mortgage company is going to know if that house needs flood insurance or not. Like if it's in a highly flooded area or not, or a 100-year floodplain, flood zone, if you will. They'll require you to carry it. And so then you don't have a choice. You got to carry flood to be able to close and get the house. But if it's not in a flood zone, if it's in like a 300 or 500-year floodplain zone, it's going to be up to you whether you want to carry it or not. And I mean, like I say, I recommend as an agent to everybody to carry it because you just don't know if the flood map is based on what it was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Topography has changed since then. ditches have been clogged, trash is in these culverts and everything like that. You don't account, the flood map doesn't account for all that. So just because your house isn't in a highly flooded, it doesn't say it's in a highly flooded area, that map is outdated. You don't know where that water is going to displace until unfortunately it does, and you don't want to be left without flood insurance.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, you're protecting a, $250,000, $300,000 asset, your home that you worked really hard to have, with anywhere from a $600 to $1,000 flood policy, maybe more. But that's where my mind is as an agent. That's how I talk to my clients is, you may spend, $1,000, $1,200 for a flood policy, something like that, to protect your house that's worth a heck of a lot more than that.
Absolutely. So, and like you said, things happen.
Yes.
Unexpected things happen, which we've all seen it in different parts of the country.
Exactly.
Where rivers overflowed,
yeah,
bayous, had a surge. I mean, there was a surge, and homes flooded that have never flooded, and they were left without flood insurance.
Yep.
This is a really, really big deal. I mean, this is a question that you need to be asking your insurance agent.
Right.
And if they're not giving you enough answers, you need to find another one.
Right.
That's my thought, because you should be able to get an open and honest answer from your insurance agent and about what they think is happening, be able to look at historical parts in those areas and give you the facts before you decide to get something or not.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll give you just a short example. Hurricane Harvey happened in our area back in 2017, and houses that never, ever, ever would have flooded, never flooded before, were, devastated by floods. And, a lot of my clients didn't have flood insurance.
Yeah.
And that was a very, very, very gut-wrenching,
it's awful
conversation to have to have. And I was actually a new agent at the time, and that was my first catastrophe to work.
Gosh.
And I'll never forget it. So those are conversations that you don't want to have, and as agents, we have nothing to gain by not covering you.
Yeah.
We want you to be covered. We want you to have the opportunity to be covered. And so you don't have to be in that position. You can avoid that. And so that's kind of my personal story on that. That's why, I make sure to at least offer it or talk to everybody about it.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that's the point. And I'm seeing that somebody, one of my friends from Louisiana, if she's still watching, Raquel, comment if you're still watching. She's in Lake Charles, Louisiana, or that area.
Oh, yep, they know all about this.
And so I would love to ask you a question if you're still on watching. Okay, guys. So right now I'm live with Braxton Skipper of Skipper Insurance Advisors, and we're going to be right back with more after this commercial break from our show sponsor.
All right.
Which is Skipper Insurance Advisors. Yay! Okay, so Skipper Insurance Advisors, where are y'all located?
Texas City, Texas.
Texas. Now, where do you, what areas do you cover, Braxton?
So mainly just because of geography, Galveston County and Harris County are my main counties.
Okay, great.
That I cover. But for sure, Galveston, for sure.
Great.
Galveston County, number one.
How can people contact Skipper Insurance Advisors?
You can call me at my office at 409-945-6604 or my cell 409-739-3089, or you can email me at braxton@skipperinsuranceadvisors.com.
It's so easy right there. Can they find y'all on social media?
Yes, absolutely. You can go to our Facebook, Skipper Insurance Advisors, or you can go to my website, www.skipperinsuranceadvisors.com.
Excellent. All right. Thank you, Braxton Skipper and Skipper Insurance Advisors, for being our show sponsor today. We're so excited to have you.
Absolutely. I'm excited to
contact them. Absolutely. Contact them. They are nice. Yes. You're going to get to talk to this young man right here, and he's going to help you with all your insurance information.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we were just talking about flood insurance, how important it is for somebody to make sure they're asking their agent about it, and if they need to have it.
Mm-hmm.
What about renters?
Renters. So it's the same for, are you still meaning for the flood insurance?
For flood insurance.
So it's the same exact concept, except your flood insurance would only cover your contents on a renter's.
Okay.
So, and they're obviously a lot less expensive because they're just covering your contents. And most of the time when you rent, you're not in a really big space.
Yeah.
So, it's not a whole lot of stuff that it's covering. So, but yeah, it would just be a renter's flood policy or a contents only flood policy.
Yeah.
And the only way to know as a renter is to just call and ask your agent to run you a quote, because, you don't know as a renter, you're not taking out a mortgage or anything. So no one's going to tell you if you're in a flood zone or not.
Oh,
wow.
What I mean? Yes.
So like as somebody buying a house, you're going to know pretty quick if that house is in a flood zone or not, because your mortgage companies go, hey, stop traffic, you need to get a flood policy.
Okay.
As a renter, no one's going to require you to have a flood policy, because nobody cares if you cover your contents.
No. Okay.
The owner of the house probably has for his stuff, but
Absolutely.
it's not going to cover yours.
Absolutely.
So yeah, anytime you're that's it kind of boils down to this. Anytime you're moving, buying something or whatever, just get with your agent and let them know what you're doing. And if they have any recommendations for you, if you're renting a new house or a new apartment or something, ask them to run you a flood quote. And, it's up to you if you want to do it or not, but at least you'll know if it's in a floodplain.
Absolutely.
But I'm going to tell you, I don't place a whole lot of emphasis on I think everybody should have flood insurance. So I don't go, okay, well, you're in a flood zone on the flood map, you need flood insurance, and then, oh, you're safe over here because you're not.
Yeah.
I think everybody needs it.
Yeah.
Especially where we live in a soup bowl.
Exactly.
We're all in a flood zone, just some are in it more than others.
Yeah.
So I think my default is yes, you should have it.
Yeah. Okay. Now I have a question. And this might be a silly question, but I want to make sure I'm asking things that people may be thinking about.
Sure.
If you have a broken pipe in your home and it floods a room or a closet or thing, is that covered under flood insurance?
No, ma'am. That will be covered on your homeowners as long as your homeowners has a peril called accidental and sudden discharge of water.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And you need to look at your homeowner's policy, because some people have their coverage for that capped. Some policies will cover you if you're up to 5,000. Some will cover you if you're up to 10,000. Some will cover you unlimited, just to the limit of your policy.
Yeah.
Like, if you have your house covered for 250,000 on some policies, that's the amount of coverage you're eligible for. That. So there's umpteen thousand carriers with umpteen thousand packages. It's just, you gotta look at these things and see what your limits are. And that's why the review with your agent is so important.
Absolutely. This is why it's so important to have an agent that you can have a straightforward and honest conversation with.
Right.
Because these are very, very important questions.
Yeah.
That you need to be asking.
That was a great question.
Well, and it's happened to several friends of mine or family. Yeah. And, sometimes, and I think about that sometimes, thinking, what is exactly that covered under? Because not everybody may know that. And
I don't expect y'all to know it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
That's
know
not our
it
job.
if this wasn't my business. So
exactly.
But the thing is as a policyholder, as a homeowner, as a car owner and stuff, you do have a little bit of a responsibility to be up on these things, and to get with your agent, make sure that you're covered properly. And if not, then let's change it. But the only way to really know that is to have an agent that will review your stuff with you and, make sure that you're on the same page. Yeah. Because the last thing you want is to find out that you're not in the event of a claim.
Exactly. And Braxton, I want to ask you this. Don't you think this is important that people get an annual review?
Yes.
And you sit down with your agent and say, am I paying for too much? Do I need more? Do I need this anymore? I mean, this is what I think so many people catch themselves after 3 or 4 years and they're going, what am I paying for?
Right.
And they don't even know, because they're just have an insurance agent that's not you.
Right.
That just says, no worries, I got you, which there's nothing wrong with that. However, personal responsibility, that's where I think, and it's good to have a good trustworthy and agent that is going to call you and contact you and say, hey, let's go ahead. If you have a little time, let's go over your policy. Let's make sure you're good to go for this next year.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's in essence the annual review. You sit down, you schedule a time. What I do, I either come to you or you come to my office, whatever, and we print out everything and we go over it and make sure that, hey, are you okay with this? If not, then let's change it.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we both part ways, knowing we're on the same page until next year.
Yeah.
And things change. You may buy another car, and you may buy another vehicle. You may buy a four-wheeler or something like that, or
a boat.
or a boat. And as I got no way of knowing that unless we get together or you tell me about it.
Yeah.
So, or you may add on to your house. You may get a new roof.
Yeah.
You may get you may do updates to your home that could make a difference on your policies. You may even get discounts for them, or, there may be, depending on where you live, there may be compliance certificates that you need to make sure to have, or else, your insurance could be in jeopardy.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of things depending on where you live that, you just got to stay on top of.
Absolutely. And if you ever have questions about this is why you can call Braxton Skipper at Skipper Insurance Advisors, and his numbers are right here, right there.
There it is.
Okay. So windstorm. One of the big questions that a lot of people, there we go. That is a big windstorm right there, right behind us. I'm scared. It's right there.
Mm-hmm.
So many people do not understand what windstorm is, literally is, or how they need to get coverage. And I'm going to tell you, years ago, when I was on city council and we had a meeting after a big hurricane, there were people with our meeting with the big government agencies that came in, and they were talking about insurance and what people needed to have. There were people there that never had windstorm coverage, flood coverage, because their insurance agent never told them they really need to have it. And this is years ago. However, but I'm telling you, it was heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
They had no idea that they did not have enough coverage. So this is a big deal, everybody.
Yeah.
Braxton, when people have a home, what do they need to be asking about windstorm? How much coverage do we need?
Well, you need to make sure you have replacement value coverage. Okay. Especially if you're financing the home or your mortgage in the home.
Okay.
Most of the time your mortgage company won't allow you to have anything else. Okay.
Okay.
They'll make sure that it's, that it's in replacement value coverage. How we were trained years ago, and it's probably more now, but you want at least $80 to $100 per square foot.
Okay. Of windstorm coverage.
Well, I mean,
or just anything.
Yeah, of coverage on your homeowners, wind,
Okay.
and just all your property coverages.
Okay.
But in terms of windstorm, the thing you really need to make sure of is that, number one, is it built into your homeowner's policy?
That's what I was going to ask you, because a lot of people don't know if it's built in.
Right.
So how do we find out?
Well, you pull out your deck page and you see if you have a windstorm deductible.
What's a deck page?
Declaration page.
Okay.
So your policy. It's just your copy of your policy.
Okay.
Number one, find it wherever that is.
Yeah. In the closet, way up on the shelf somewhere where you've shoved it.
Right. Or if you're paperless, it might be in your email.
There you go.
But anyway, what you need to look, number one, is if you have a windstorm deductible on there or not. If you do or don't, regardless, you need to call your agent and get the details on that.
Okay.
Because you might have windstorm coverage in your homeowners, but it might not be for hurricane related.
Yeah.
So where we live on the Texas Gulf Coast, you got three different policies. You got your homeowner's policy, you got your windstorm policy, and you got your flood policy.
Okay.
They're three different, separate, and distinct policies that cover for different things. Homeowners is fire, lightning, theft, vandalism, fallen objects. Then you got your windstorm policy. That's wind-driven rain, hail damage to your home, and just, wind damage. And then of course, flood, which is rising water from a lot of rain. Every one of those, an adjuster will come out and determine what the damage was caused from.
Yeah.
And if you don't have flood insurance and they come out and you're trying to claim it on your homeowners or windstorm, and they're going to be able to tell that it was just rising water damage to your home.
Yeah.
No coverage.
Wow.
Right. So it's important to have all three. Whereas, back to the windstorm question though, you need to make sure if wind is built into your homeowners or not. And if it's not, how do you go about getting it, depending on what state you live in and all that. We in Texas, on the coastal counties of Texas, we really just have to get it through Texas Windstorm Insurance Association.
Okay.
We call it the wind pool here.
Okay.
I'm sure different states on the coast have an equivalent to that. I'm not sure. I'm only know about Texas, but really no homeowners policy you're going to get here at this time in this climate right now is going to have windstorm built in. You're almost always going to have to get a standalone windstorm policy.
Okay.
And ultimately, the coverage kind of just mirror in terms of coverage limits, like you were asking, it'll just mirror what your homeowners is typically.
Okay.
Like if your house is covered for $250,000 on the home, it'll probably be covered for the same amount on the wind.
Okay.
So coverage doesn't change. It's just the peril. Right. The peril, the type of what it covers for is what the difference is.
See, that's really interesting. And because the Kelly Williams Show gets watched all over the country.
Right.
If you are in a state and you have different insurance concerns about what you need to have for natural disasters, contact your insurance agent and find out and make sure you are covered. Yes. That is the heartbreaking part that so many people don't think about. And they don't think they think that they have to wait for somebody to tell them what they need instead of just taking it upon themselves and saying, hey, I want to find out what I need. Yes. What do I need? What do I have? Where am I? And what does this cover?
Yeah. And you might find out, hey, I'm good.
Yeah. Okay? Which would be great.
Right. Or you might find out, oh, I need some things. So either way, it's a win-win, but like I say, you don't want to wait till something happens to find out it wasn't the way it needed to be. No, because it could cause major issues.
No, absolutely. And you just reminded me of something. Hurricane season is from what date to kind of what date? What month to what month?
Typically, it's in June through September, really. But like I said, for us right now, it's kind of it's longer because of how hot our summer was. Yeah. How hot the end of spring and all of summer and really until just recently was. So for us, I mean, it's going to go through October and maybe a little bit of November. But I mean, it just varies wherever you're from, wherever you live on the coast, it's different. But for us on the Texas Gulf Coast, it's typically from June to all the way to September. Okay. That's like typical.
So, one really important thing to remember is that once hurricane season begins and that first storm is in a water area, wherever you're located, for us, it's the Gulf.
Right.
You can't call your agent and say, hey, I need a hurricane. No, I need windstorm insurance, because they cannot give it to you once that first storm forms. Please remember that this is very, very important for people to remember. Don't wait to get windstorm and flood coverage until until you can't.
Right.
So they could start getting it in December and January, correct?
So I'm glad you brought that up. So with flood insurance, if your mortgage company is not requiring you to have it, when you call and get it, it's a 30-day wait.
Oh, wow.
On flood. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
So they do that so you don't wait till something happens and call and just buy it.
Sure.
Okay. That's why they do it. But if you're closing on a property and it's in a flood zone and your mortgage company's requiring you to carry it, there's no wait.
Okay.
But if it's an elective policy, if it's something that if you're not in a flood zone, but you just want to carry flood insurance,
yeah,
when you purchase it, it's a 30-day wait. So the sooner the better on that.
Absolutely. That's a big deal.
But yeah, she's absolutely right. When one of these blows up in our coordinates, which is typically the Gulf, we can't ride, or, we can't make changes. We're cut off, with windstorm. So
yeah, that's a big deal. So make sure if you have questions now, or if you're not sure if you're covered enough, or if you need it, make sure you give Braxton Skipper a call, and they will give you a free consultation.
Absolutely.
About what you need. That's what's great. Okay, so right now we're going to take a little break from our show sponsor and talk about Skipper Insurance Advisors. Yay! Okay, so thank you, Skipper Insurance Advisors. This is Braxton Skipper, owner of Skipper Insurance Advisors. Braxton, why do you think Skipper Insurance Advisors is so different than other insurance agencies?
Well, I'm different because I'm not I'm not I'm not an agent with just one firm.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm totally independent. I have a big market at my disposal that I can really find the best place for you, or at least I can point you in the right direction to it. I'm not an agent with just one company.
Yeah.
I have a lot of different carriers that are good fits depending on your situation. So I'm able to really, place you where I think you need to be versus, be with I'm not just with one company and that's it. If I can't write you, or if it's not a good fit, I got to send you away. I can, I have a lot more options for you.
Yeah.
And at renewal, I can reshop you and find you another one. Every time you renew, I'm able to review with you and look at that and see if I can find a carrier that's a better fit for you. If anything changed, or, if your rate went up or anything like that, I can shop and see if I can find you a better one and still be your agent versus send you down the road.
Absolutely.
So when you're independent, you have a lot more flexibility with your client. You're able to really, really research a lot of different carriers that you're appointed with, and you have a lot of free, you have a lot of freedom there.
Yeah, absolutely. So important. How can they contact you for their free consultation?
You can call me at 409-739-3089. That's my cell. Or you can call me at the office, 409-945-6604. Or you can email me at braxton@skipperinsuranceadvisors.com.
All right.
And you can text me too if you want to.
You can just call him to hear his accent.
Yeah, you can do that too.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so thank you, Skipper Insurance Advisors, for being our show sponsor today. Awesome.
Glad to be here.
Okay, so I want to know another thing that people don't understand is, what is WP18 certificates?
Sure. So it's a WPI8 certificate. What it is, it's
WPI8.
Yes.
Okay.
Ma'am. Sorry, I probably.
No, I'm sorry.
So, but anyway, it's a certificate of compliance with Texas windstorm insurance. So any new builds down here on the coast, I believe like 1988 or after, I may be a little off on that, but any new construction has to have a WPI8 certificate for it to ensure that it's windstorm certified. So you're eligible for windstorm insurance through TWIA. Okay. That being said, also any additions or any remodel, anything done to the exterior of the home has to have that certificate as well. So, for example, new roofs, new garage doors, new windows, new doors. Any little thing that you have done has got to have a WPI on the exterior of your home.
Okay.
Like if you add on to your home, WPI, you get a new roof, you need a WPI.
Wow.
And typically, whatever contractor you use, they should be able to set you up with that. If a contractor can't set you up with one, I would highly recommend to use a contractor that, already has somebody that can file that for you.
Absolutely.
Because it can save you a lot of headache down the road. Because what happens is if, TWIA does random inspections, and if they find out that you don't have that cert, if they see that, oh man, 3 years ago when we wrote this policy, they didn't have this add-on. Now they have this add-on.
Yeah.
There's no certificate. They can set you up for non-renewal.
Oh, that's horrible.
And then now you got to call and scramble and go try to get an inspector to come out and look at it. And they might have too many people to get out there in time.
Yeah. So
you just don't want to put yourself in those positions, right? And that's how it is here where we live. Again, it may be similar where you live, and the only way for you to know that is to get with your agent and see.
Yeah.
That's just kind of how it is. So, but yeah, the WPA certificate is a certificate of compliance here with Texas Windstorm Insurance to ensure the house was built up to their code, and their standards. So
does a homeowner need to say, look at their thing or call their agent and say, do I have my WPI-8 forms? Everything's good? Or is that something that that is automatically done by your? So
they're automatically filed.
Okay.
If you already have a policy and everything's in place and you haven't done anything to the house,
so it's already there.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if you do anything different, if you do add on or get a new roof and stuff like that, that's when you need to check and make sure it was filed. You can do that with the Texas Department of Insurance. You can look up your own with your address. You can look and see if it's been filed, or you can call your agent and he can do it. And if it hasn't been, or if they can't locate it, then he can get you set up with somebody that, he can give you, he may know some inspectors or something that can go out there and take care of that for you.
Okay. That's really great information.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Braxton, one thing that people need to remember to make sure to do is to check with your agent that you have coverage.
Yes.
Verify it with your mortgage company, because that's sometimes what people forget to do.
Oh yeah. Especially when you escrow, right?
Yes.
So when your mortgage company pays your bill for you every year, you need to make sure that they need to make sure that they sent that payment in.
Yes.
Because like we said, if a storm blows up in the Gulf and your renewal is close and your mortgage company's late on that payment, TWIA won't accept that payment while that's out there.
Yeah. No,
right?
That's
Whereas
scary.
if your mortgage company had got that payment in sooner, then you'd be good to go.
Yeah. So
there's so many different scenarios and so many different situations. Don't just assume everything's good.
No.
Definitely call and make sure that it's been done. It'll make you feel better, I promise. And it makes us as your agent feel better too. So
absolutely. That's just something, and I learned that only this past couple of years, honestly,
right.
That we have to make sure that our mortgage company is paying directly, because some of them may not. Right. And so please remember to check and make sure that all of your insurance is getting paid. Yeah,
because a lot of these mortgage companies, they don't understand how the coast works.
Yeah.
All right. So, they think they have, we don't live in like Nebraska, right? So we have hurricanes that can blow up on us anytime. We got 3 different policies, whereas a lot of people only have 1 or 2 in a lot of states to keep up with. So your mortgage company might not know of the time sensitivity to get that payment in for your windstorm quickly, right? Because it just they're not in Texas, or they're just not aware.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so important to make sure.
Absolutely. This is why, to me, it's so important to have an agent that is personal, that you can trust, that you can call anytime. You're not just a number client to somebody, you're actually become their family,
right?
And they make sure you are very well taken care of. And this is what Skipper Insurance Advisors do. So this is why it's real important. If you don't have somebody that you're happy with, or if you need somebody, or you're a new homeowner, you're not sure if you have it, call Braxton Skipper. He will take very, very good care of you, I promise. Okay, Braxton. So just a reminder, once any storm is in the Gulf, especially in our area and maybe up the east as well, you can't call and say, hey, I need coverage because there's a storm and I'm scared I don't have enough insurance. You're out.
That's it. Yeah.
They cannot help you.
Everybody's got certain coordinates that, once that gets in that whatever set of coordinates it is for that carrier, when you're cut off, you're cut off. And there's nothing me as the agent or even the carrier itself can do. It's just their rule, and it's to protect them. It's to protect them, because you got to understand, as a carrier, think about it. If they let you call in and just make a one-time payment and then you have a total loss, well, look what they're out. You know, so that's why these guards are in place, is to protect them as well. So anyway, that's kind of why that is the way it is. But you don't want to put yourself in that position, right? Get with your agent, make sure you have everything you need, or at least the opportunity to get it. As the policyholder, it's up to you whether you ultimately go forward with it or not. But at least right?
Absolutely. And guys, you're going to be able to watch Braxton on the Kelly Williams Show every month. We're going to be answering and bringing to you really important insurance questions and concerns that you might have, and you'll always be able to ask live on the show. It makes it really, really nice. But we're so happy you joined us today. This has been fantastic.
It was.
Yeah, so good. And thank you, Skipper Insurance Advisors, for being our show sponsor. Braxton, one more time, how can people follow you and call you for a free consultation?
Sure. So you can follow me at my Facebook at Skipper Insurance Advisors. And you can call me at my office, 409-945-6604, or you can call or text me on my cell phone, 409-739-3089. And if you're an email person, you can email me at braxton@skipperinsuranceadvisors.com. And you can also go to my website if you'd like at www.skipperinsuranceadvisors.com.
Great. Next month, we're actually going to be talking about Airbnbs.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that.
Me too. Are you an Airbnb owner? Are you looking at investing in one? Or are you going to be staying in one, which so many people do? So make sure you catch the show next month with Braxton Skipper of Skipper Insurance Advisors. You don't want to miss it. Absolutely. Guys, you can always watch the Kelly Williams Show on your home TV. And we hope you have an awesome and blessed rest of your day. We'll see you later.
We'll see you later.
I don't know what happened. I've never had it do this before.
Good show.